What is going on there, everyone? And welcome back to another video from Dracon. Today we're going to unbox and review the Dungeons & Dragons Onslaught board game, the High Octane Miniatures game by Nicholas Yu and Travis Severance. This introduces the new faction system. How do I feel about factions, you may ask? I don't know. Factions are factions. Reality, you don't have to follow them because, I mean, they're minis. If you find a drow in white armor, maybe you want that drow just to use as like where you go, nah, I was raised on the surface, so I don't have just black gothic armor. You know, stuff like that, where it's different. Artwork here looks pretty good. Got some like 2 elven warriors and a Tabaxi there fighting it out. Got like the 2 factions fighting. It looks like there's a dragon in the background. He's about to like do some damage, so it's pretty cool. But let's open it up, take a look inside, because I'm really wanting to look in here. I mean, it's looked pretty good, but before we do, let me just say, I happen to get this from Game Nerds, so if you guys haven't checked it out, they do sell a lot of tabletop RPGs, Wizards of the Coast stuff, Pathfinder stuff. They sell the premium miniatures, all that kind of good stuff for a pretty good price. This thing was really less than $100 after the tax. That's where it jumped up over $100 a little bit, so still, though, not too bad. I think we're getting like, what, 20... It was, if I can remember off the top of my head, I think it was like 28 or 24 miniatures. Still a pretty nice amount. These are all pre-painted. You get a dragon, you get 2 types of giant, one giant kin, and then you get a bunch of like, you know, lesser monsters, which are always great to bolster your forces. You get some characters. Now, honestly, if you wanted to play this game without using the miniatures from it, you totally could. If you happen to have the same exact character, like species-wise, you could easily use it as a fill-in. So say if I wanted to use a goblin mini, but I didn't want to use this goblin mini, I could easily take like a female goblin mini and set her on top and just give her her own name, but use his goblin stats. That way you're not breaking the game. So I mean, interchangeable minis. So that's always a good thing too if you have a bunch. So let's open this up, take a look, and see what WizKids and Wizards of the Coast have made in this brainchild. Let's take a look at what's inside under the lid. Okay, so taking that off, let's see what we got here. So we got a little like envelope here, D&D envelope, pretty nice embroidered envelope. It's got a little bit of a feel to it. We got a little bit of some Frameworks marketing. Now, if you guys haven't known, Frameworks is the sort of Warhammer-esque look, I guess you could call it. One second, camera's gonna have to adjust here in a minute. There we go. But yeah, the Frameworks. So this is the whole, if you want your miniatures to have a unique Frameworks appearance to them, I would recommend it. I mean, honestly, though, they can be a bit expensive. So, oh, sorry, my camera just readjusted. There we go. Yeah, pretty cool. I'll probably be keeping that. Maybe I'll look into getting some of the Frameworks. If I do or don't, I will review it for you guys. So stay tuned for that possibility. We'll see. I've heard they're very expensive, so probably not going to happen all that likely, but it's a nice thought process. Okay, so as we can see here, the first thing we get is a rule book. It's pretty simple. Oh, we got 2 books, but here's the rule book. Very thin, simple paper stock. Some card details. Oh, we got a whole list of the creatures. Like there's some factions, all the monsters. All the sort of random accessories we're getting here. Oh, we actually got some names. Let me read off some of the names here quick while we do this. So for instance, we have Drakmeu the Rockbiter, a female Goliath. That's good. I don't really have any female Goliath minis. Dang, some of these names are going to be hard for me to read. I'm going to do my best. Like Javika the Flowing Maple. And that was an easy one. Sorry. It looks like we actually even have like a ASMR. Or at least it looks like an ASMR because she's got like a unique sort of heavenly look. Oh, we have a goblin. Gribbleshanks. All one word. And Lightning Dancer, the Tabaxi. We got Laziel du Arathmier, the obviously dark elf. Shocking that, or drow. Got Etin, Troll, Kobolds, Gnolls, and a young black dragon. I do like the young black dragon stance, though, so I'm hoping to get to that mini, which you can see already from here. We got more minis. Here we got scenario guide. This is probably more storyline if I'm looking. Yeah, it's got stories, stuff like that. Mimics, trolls, loot goblins. So you get some actual like tokens for that, which these are right here. Here's our lovely set of tokens. We got like, you know, Daze, Confuse, Roll Dice, I'm assuming, Spell Effects. Oh, I'm sorry. We also got like some weapon pickups. Maybe those are items you can pick up, like keys, shields. We got goblins, some blood stuff. Maybe if you're bleeding, like you get more. Here's the maps, what they're going to look like. So it's pretty nice looking maps. They're pretty standard, but thick cardstock. So that's, or thick materials. So that's good. I got some cards back here for initiative and loot cards, because you got like taunt and stuff like that. So that's cool. I actually like the initiative cards where you can get initiative bonus, I'm assuming, or you like draw off for initiative. That's pretty different. It's pretty cool. Pretty swanky. Got some dividers going on here. I think there's, I don't know. Let's see what these are. So let's see if these are some type of, okay, so they're actually cards. They have different classes on there based on what you are. Like, I'm guessing it's sorcerers. It's Onslaught. Oh, we have an overall round keeper. Like, it's got tons of little rotators. That's pretty cool. These cards all have their own rotators. I mean, here's like the monk girl with her stat card. So if you had her stats, sorcerer, dark elf, another. Is she a dark elf? She is. Sorry, I just want to know what race Mistral is, because she looks like she would be an ASMR, but it doesn't say on her. She's a cleric. Huh. I don't like how it doesn't say what their races are on there, because they should. I'm not seeing it for any of them. Maybe that's because they're trying to keep them like general in case you wanted to name them something else. Yeah. Like, weirdly enough, they don't say what their races are in here. They legit do not. And there's like actually, that is kind of frustrating. Because I'd like to know what my races are on these creatures, like in case they're, you know. And there's no like racial traits on here, because I know D&D is trying to get away from racial traits, but whatever. I'm assuming the other cards here should be evil monsters, which, oh, yep, the Black Dragon. Got us a Troll. Got us the Etten. Got some more characters. Yeah, got more characters. We don't really have any of the small character creature types, unless they're random. But let's, so that's all the really in stuff. So, I mean, like, a lot of good stuff. You're getting a lot of stuff already. We're getting maps. We got us some tokens. We got some cool rotating cards. If a DM wanted to use them in their campaign, they could easily, like, modify the armor into armor class and the speed into movement. And maybe use some of the effects if they're not too broken for the game. Obviously, run them through and see how they would do. Like, kind of do a mock test, but you got initiative cards. Maybe if, like, you want those to be a luck of the draw type for how into the battle the creature is. Like, you know, take an initiative card. I got a 1. Okay, you only get +1. I got a 10. Here's +10 you really want to throw down. Like, it's kind of cool. So, I mean, let's get into the minis, though, shall we? We're going to go through each of these minis, take a look, and we're going to see how awesome they look. I mean, I'm hoping these look fantastic. So let's move the turntable over here, and we're going to get some nice, good, lovely rounding shots and go over each of them. So let's get to it. So this is a quick throwdown. We actually do have some D20 rollers here and some little card holders. I almost forgot about what's in there, but, you know, a little extra. But let's get to the minis themselves, shall we? Okay, so first up here we have Knoll 1, a very simple Knoll warrior with a spear and all that. Looks pretty good. Can't say anything really good or bad about it in the sense of like whether he's very complex. He looks very similar to actually some Knolls I got in a board game, and they were like archer Knolls. They had very simple armor like this kind of like sort of makeshift armor, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's nice to get some Knolls. Knolls are always more. I always need more Knolls because, you know, Knolls are a nice creature. They do come in hordes, so it's pretty cool. Nice spear Knoll. Let's see the other Knoll though. So Knoll number 2. So for Knoll number 2 here, we get this big armored Knoll. I mean, like, he is a big bruiser of a Knoll, and I like it. Sorry, my camera. Focusing. And I like his simple golden armor or bronze armor with the nice little red flowing sort of skirt there. Pretty cool. Yeah, so this Knoll's pretty cool. I like his shield there. He's got this big, bulky sort of shield, a lovely giant axe. He kind of actually has sort of a mane, which I sort of like. He's not a Leonin, but I like that he's got this kind of maned look to him. So he looks a little bit more like he's higher. Usually hyenas would have the little, I guess you'd call it like the little mane on their necks and stuff. But this guy, nah, he's got like a big old flowing sort of, like just a flowing lion's mane on top of that. So it gives him more of a cool commanding presence. It'd be really cool if you needed a cool commander for your gnolls for this board game or for general tabletop. So really cool. Let's move on to the next baggie though, shall we, and see what we got. Okay, so here we have Kobold 1. Sorry, I just had to alter my lights there a little bit, which you see is a lot better. So, but we have Kobold 1, a little spear kobold with a cape. It's really cool to kind of see a kobold that just gets a cape on him. You know, he's not very special, but he's just kind of cool looking for a kobold with his nice little cape on him, his nice little spear. If you're playing a game, you can easily use this as a player class kobold. Like maybe that's his sort of shawl that he joins the group with. And he's very simple, has a meek design. He is reminiscent of the Monster Menagerie player class looking kobolds, the ones that have like all the clothes on them and the sword. So it looks like they kind of use that same head, which is not a bad thing. But let's get to the other one since we're now on the kobolds in the set. So here we have Kobold 2. If you were looking for a fighter kobold that could be a kobold in your party and it's a fighter, this kobold is just for you. I mean, it's got a cool look. Sorry, my camera's moving. Camera a little bit, but there we go. I love his two swords. I like it's kind of sort of like he's doing that stretch style, like he's getting ready to sort of lunge up and start swinging those blades, start cutting his foes down. It's pretty cool looking. Now, do I think this kobold would work great for a PC character? Yes, this will work great for a PC. I think you could easily use as a PC kobold or higher rank kobolds. He's got a nice little vest on, stuff like that. It looks pretty cool. But you know, there's not much else to say. He's a very simple kobold. I think this would be a great PC kobold, though, if you wanted like a little vested kobold for your group. Because who doesn't want to try playing a kobold every now and then? And also, not play an irritating one. A lot of you like to play irritating kobolds. It'd be nice for someone to play a cool kobold or a smart kobold that just works with the team. Considering kobolds are supposed to be great pack tactics type creatures. So, yeah. But moving on to the third kobold of this little group. Okay, this kobold is officially, I'm calling him Turtle Shield Speared Kobold. I know. I wanted to call it Dragon Shield, but it's really not a Dragon Shield. It doesn't look like the Dragon Shield. And in the end, it's a very simple kobold. Like, he's very simple. I mean, I like the shell. The shell's a really cool detail with the shield being a turtle shell sort of looking thing with a big, long sort of spear. He's also got more clothing on than the last kobold, so it seems to be kind of a weird sort of dynamic. They're getting more and more clothed. Very unusual. But I kind of like it. They're very cool. They have that sort of koboldy, creepy, sneaky style, but yet it looks like they could be quite vicious in a fight, which is what you want for your, you know, creatures. So let's get on to the last of the kobolds, though, shall we? Who could forget an archer kobold? The kobold that sits in the slightly back of the group and flings and shoots his arrows at you repeatedly from the bow. I like this kobold. He's simple, but he's got that cool sort of like, I want to call it that squat style from someone who shot a bow. You can crouch to shoot with. It's simple. And it doesn't automatically make you shoot better, but it's kind of a nice stance. I like the stance because the kobold's getting lower than the fact he already is lower. Works pretty cool. I like him. Very cool kobold, very simple, but, you know, someone in the group wants to be a ranger kobold. There you go. Moving on. Now, here we have the troll. Now, as we all know, the trolls, they're giant kin, not true giants. So it's pretty cool that we get a nice, good troll. You never know when you need another one. This troll is definitely more on the actual depiction of D&D sort of fantasy trolls with the skinny body, the long, big, beakish kind of nose. He's got some, like, spots on his back. I wish they had a little bit more detail, like a little more pustule-ish. Look like they had a little bit brighter green on top of that. Little loincloth. He's got like that lovely mane of disgusting coarse hair. He's in sort of an animalistic pose, like kind of a primate with the knuckles there. And I like him. He's very simple, but I could easily use this for a troll, like a standard wild troll. I know the card says young troll, but that's a troll. That's your normal, very normal troll. Not your champion trolls, not a pit troll. This is just like a savage troll. But a very good troll. So very good nonetheless. I like it. But let's move on. Now here we have the last, but kind of, I guess you could say, the least of the giant kin. This giant is your Etten. Now, Ettins are called Runt in Jotun, which actually is their name. Etten means runt. And I like this Etten. It's very simple. He's got a dirty look to him. He's face painted. Now, he's not my first Etten. The first Etten I actually ever got was from the Elemental Evils board game. And I transformed that Etten into a zombie Etten because I thought it would look cooler since I don't have a zombie Etten. But yeah, he's not bad. I like it sort of dynamic, like he's running up pose. Looks like he's about to run up and attack. The other Etten I have has like the sort of like he's ready to swing his weapons down, but he's not ready to move. This one looks like he's about to run up, deck your character, or attack you. And I like the war paint. The war paint has a nice look on there. Especially because they only decided to paint one of them with war paint. Since one Etten head is always the dominant head, I think that's a really nice touch. But yeah, very nice. Let's get a little shot of all the... Since we've gotten through almost all the bad guys, actually, other than the dragon, let's do a shot of different bad guys together. So here's a shot of the troll and the Etten. Two awesome creatures I think are very nice. We get some trollkin in this dungeon, which is funny because usually you'd think a dragon wouldn't keep giant or giantkin around, but you never know. These guys are pretty dumb and stupid, so they'll do what they're told or else get destroyed by the more powerful dragon, and they're probably not going to argue about it since they're not really super loyal. Yes, they would do whatever another giant tells them, but this dragon's kind of got them to the threat of do what I say or I burn you to death with acid, and the troll's not going to go against a creature that uses acid or fire damage that is naturally, you know, defeats its healing factor. So let's get a shot of the other villainous creatures. Here's another nice good shot of the two gnolls that we get in the pack. They came in their own little baggie. The kind of commander gnoll and then the just standard spear wielding gnoll. Very simple. Here's our 4 kobolds there, all ready to fight and attack, and I like how they look. I love their just like little squad of 4 kobolds. Great for PCs for your tabletop or just NPCs to add to the kobold hordes. Very nice. And honestly, the great thing is, too, with these kobolds, you could easily take a bunch of kobolds you have in other sets and just put them next to them and make a gigantic horde of kobolds. The same with the gnolls or the trolls and the Ettins. Like, if you have more, add them to it. I mean, why not? Make it more challenging if you're going to use them for the tabletop or if you're going to spice up your board game, make it a little different. You know, something like that. Here we have one of the, I believe, I'm not sure what the faction names are. I can't ever remember. But we're going to call this the blue faction because these are the guys who all have like the little dragon with blue. The other one seems to be more like a moonlight or something, but with white. So these guys are, I'm calling them the blue faction just because they're all like the same group with a little dragon or drake symbol. Here we have Rachiel or Rachiel or Rachiel. Maybe now I'm not sure what he is. Now you guys could say in the comments down below what you think their races are. They don't tell you what the races are in this unless it's in the book, and I really don't feel like searching it deep in lore for the book. I'm going to take pre-guessing here that this might be an ASMR. He has those white glowing eyes. Otherwise, he looks just like a human, which can be an ASMR. They do look like that. He looks kind of cool, and I do think he looks pretty neat. Like, I think, honestly, using him for a cool knight character or a city guard or, like, a cool NPC, if you don't want to use him for a PC, wouldn't be a big mistake. So, pretty cool and very nicely painted, too. Like, these ones are looking pretty good from the set. So here we have Javika, the Flowing Maple. This is your monk character. I kind of like how she's not carrying the staff into battle. She's in a fighting pose, their fists ready to throw down, which I like this pose for her. She's not in like the one leg up sort of martial artist pose. She's in kind of like what I like to call the shadow box pose, where she's like doing little, like she looks like she's jumping back and forth with her fists ready to throw some punches. If she needs the like staff, it's there. So it's pretty cool. And I like it. She's a nice, unique humanoid character. I don't think she's an elf. She does have pointy ears, but she's a cool human-looking character. Unless you want to make her like an Earth Genasi, because she does have a skin tone that could easily pull that off without an issue. I mean, of course, you could have a sand-type Earth Genasi, which would be like very light colored. So, you know, variety. I love variety. More variety. This is the great part of this. I love the variety we're getting in this set. So let's move on to the next character of this faction. Ah, yes, the Goblin. Here we have little Grabbleshanks. Grabbleshanks! The Goblin Archer, who sneaks up probably behind the faction, shooting his arrows and, you know, shooting his enemies in the knee. I mean, after all, I was an adventurer once who took an arrow in the knee. Well, maybe Grabbleshanks was the reason why your character no longer can adventure. Mortal wounds, then leading to your death. Maybe you're like, oh, that was when I was alive. Never mind, I died. Very cool. I like little Grabbleshanks. It's a nice change of pace to get a goblin who's actually involved and not like a second thought. Here we have Mistral. Now, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a drow, because, I mean, I did see a character on the front of the box who looks like Mistral here, where she has the mask and all that, and she looks like she's jumping through with her... It looks like a sword in that, though. But, I mean, she got this cool kind of mace, so... She said cleric. So I guess, I mean, she could be some type of war cleric with the little masks there. I'm not sure what that kind of cleric would be. I'm not sure who her goddess would be, but it's pretty unique. And I think she's a very sort of majestic-looking character with her armor, the mask, the bright silvery weaponry. She's probably definitely the leader of the group, or at least a high-ranking cleric. I mean, usually you want to listen to your cleric so they can always heal you, so that makes sense. Let's move on to the last two members of her faction. Then we'll get a group shot, shall we? Here we have your classic dark armored tiefling. Looks like even in this faction they couldn't lighten up her outfit. She's still dark and brooding with a weird sort of fork-looking sword. Maybe it shoots fire or has a fireball effect off the end of it. I mean, it kind of looks like something that could use as a sort of fork sword, but, you know, it's really cool. So this is Bedlam, causing bedlam and destruction, so it works. Very nice. I have to say, I kind of like her design. If you need a good tiefling mini for the group, as there's usually someone who wants to be a tiefling, she'd work out great. I love her horns. They have a nice accent to the face. Like, it looks good on the face with the flow of it. So, really nice. Let's get to the final one, though, shall we? Okay, here's the Dragonborn of the group. Pyrotronics. If I'm saying that wrong, it's like Rokai Pyrotronics, the Clanless. And he's a pretty cool-looking Dragonborn. Now, granted, he does look more like a Dragonlance Dragonborn, or the ones that people like more with the tail. But, I mean, in my opinion, I've seen a reason a Dragonborn can't be born with a tail. Maybe with a tail, they're more powerful because it's more in tune with the full draconian look and the dragons they, you know, were made by or made to work for, you know, that kind of stuff, which makes it look awesome. Now, would I recommend using this as a player character? Oh yeah, this guy looks pretty cool. I like his design. If you have a Sorcerer Dragonborn, this guy will do it for you. Now, let's take a look at the whole entire faction standing together, side by side, ready for battle. So here's an overall group shot of this entire faction. We got Gribbleshanks there coming up the back. We got the monk and the warrior, I guess, ready to run up front. Maybe a paladin ready to run in and fight. Got the cleric there with her sorcerer bull ready to maybe assist if necessary. And then we got the tiefling, which I'm going to assume is a rogue. They usually are. And it's a pretty nice band. Honestly, for a group of 6 adventurers, that would be a pretty well-rounded band. Because we have an archer / roguish character. We have the monk. We have the sorcerer, a cleric to heal. We have the fighter / paladin. We have the rogue / fighter. So, you know, like, we had different levels. So it's a pretty well-made band for this faction. So it's pretty good. I can see this faction being very well-balanced in a campaign if you just want to go off the faction-wise. So that's pretty cool. Now let's get on with the second faction, shall we? So here we have the Tabaxi fighter of the group. Obviously a fighter. Maybe rogue, but most likely fighter. The Lightning Dancer. Lightning Dancer here is your kind of more cat-like looking Tabaxi, not the leopard type. So he looks more like a wildcat, but more like the wildcats in the sense of like cats that escaped, you know, and they've become that more feral look, because he's not like a spotted cat, but he'd be like a mountain lion-esque, I guess you could say. Like, he has that more sort of tone to him. But with the big pointed ears and stuff, he's probably more like your house cats. So, pretty cool. I do like it. It's a nice, good Tabaxi, and I always need more Tabaxis to have for options in games. So, pretty cool. I mean, here we have a gnome. Obviously, Sedona Sparklebang. She is quite a unique character. I mean, she's a gnome, and she's a blonde gnome. A little different. We usually don't get a lot of blonde gnomes. I think the last time I saw a blonde-colored gnome for a difference was the, what was the investigator gnome that she had, like, the spyglass and those thing like that. She had kind of the more Indiana Jones. So it's nice to see a sort of sorcerer or wizard-style gnome, which I'm assuming she's holding, like, a heart or a potion of some sort, getting ready to throw it to help her allies or something like that, but it's pretty cool. I gotta say, I like her design. It's very simple. But, you know, it's good to have more female gnome minis. I don't have a ton of gnomes that I could use for games, so it's really nice to get one. So let's move on to the next, though, shall we? Here we have Chloe Asmodel. I think I said that correctly. But she gives me a reminder of Cassandra from Dragon Age. She's got that short, tomboyish cut, but she's got more weapons on her. She's got her sword ready at the draw. She has very simplistic, like, tunic. I guess you could say padded tunic for her to wear. She's got like a nice pants that like aren't baggy or flowing. They're more that like wrapped and turned, so they're more fit. I'm guessing that's like an arrow on her back or a mace, or maybe, you know what, it could. Oh, I believe that's actually a lute. Let me check. Yes, it looks to be like a lute. So she's actually a bardic character, which is actually good. They don't really have too many bards that look more normal, and Cassandra are definitely good for a female bard. So if someone wanted to be a bard in the group and they need a good girl version, here you go. She's a great performer looking type. She seems to be active in her stance and all that stuff. She can defend herself if necessary, but looks like she'll party and have a good time with the best of them. So let's move on to the next person in their faction, shall we? Here we have Gelio Gobhan. So he's a very standard looking furbolg. The hair on him's a little more of the lighter brown, which is different. Got some nice clothes, a nice staff. Definitely would be a good druid character. I don't know if he's a druid or sorcerer, but I'm going to assume a druid. Most furbolgs are. He looks pretty cool. I kind of like his design. He's very simple, which, since furbolgs are very humble creatures, they don't like to take credit for doing amazing things or being praised. So it works out for him. He looks like a character that would try to be in the background of the party, sitting in the back, but keeping an eye on everything, but just not wanting to be the whole, look at me and be afraid of my bulk, my friend. Because remember, furbolgs are bigger than Goliaths, and based on what furbolgs were in the olden days, they were actually kind of sort of like Nordic-looking, red-haired, like barbarian giant people. And this is definitely the Fey-touched variety, so it's good to see they kept that going. If they are, I would love to see, honestly, someone use the furbolg style of the originals before the non-Fey touch type. But hey, WizKids, maybe one day they'll do it. If they're watching, guys, add that in. It's always a nice option, you know what I mean? More options. Here we have Dramau Rockbiter. I believe I said that name correctly. I don't speak Goliath, but here she is, a female Goliath. I actually don't have female Goliaths, so it's really nice to get one. I've been tempted to like go buy one of the unpainted female Goliaths and paint her up, but you know, this is nice to get, and they usually are barbarians, so this works. She's got a great axe, ready to fight and swing her axe around and take out some people. She looks like she's ready to throw down. So if you need a female Goliath, here you go. This mini will stand in great for that. She'll bust some heads. And this one, unlike her furbolg fellow giantkin, she will take some credit for busting them skulls. Now here we have an awesome, mysterious, but still pretty sculpt. Lasalier de Arathmir. I'm hoping I'm saying this off. I'm butchering the names. I'm sorry, guys. I don't speak this oldie tongue all the time, unless I'm playing games. Then I get kind of in the mood for it, but it's hard to turn on and off. But I love her design. This drow, yes, she's edgy. I like my edge in characters. Ask the Dice and Dummies group that I'm a member of. I like edgy characters. I love her little crossbow. I love her sword. I love her, like, she's kind of got that, like, sneaky stance. This is definitely your rogue character if you want to be a drow rogue, but just not be Drist, like, style-looking mini. This one will do. You get the edge look, but yet at the same time, you're sneaky. You hide in them shadows. You're dropping your foes and doing the whole, I was never here, and then vanish out. And man, this has gone on for a while, but before I get to the final miniature of the box, and we get a group shot of this faction, let me give a quick thanks if you've gotten this far in the video. Make sure you go to the end to see the big dragon and the group shot. And, you know, if you guys haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's just a small clip for you guys, but I definitely appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Hit that like button and give the thumbs up. And, you know, make sure you leave a comment, question, concern in the comments. If you have an idea, go throw it there. If you want to ask any questions like, hey, man, what's the name of your podcast group again you're a member of? We want to tune in and see you guys actually do this using these minis. Well, that'll be the Dice and Dummies. But yeah, go ahead and message that to me too. I'll definitely try to make sure I get back to you on that. As always, guys, make sure you share it. Help the channel grow. Help your friends see these cool videos and get some new ideas, or maybe help them see if something's worth their time. Anyway, moving on to the group shot. So here I have a lovely group shot of everybody. Sorry. There, of the whole group. We have the two giant kin there. We've got the Tybaxi and the Drow, sort of being their sneaky style. We've got our sorceress gnome, and then we got Cassandra, the bard, who's ready to add her assistance to everyone in the party and make this work. And now I just thought about it. Mistral from the last faction could have been a bard too. Maybe one that does more plays and fancy plays, because she's got that like fancy look. But that's a pretty cool party. Now let's get to the big dog of this set. Like most, when it's involved, the big dog being the dragon. So here he is, guys, the big dog of this set. The young black dragon. Sneaking through the darkness, you feel a sting in the air. A slight smell of decay and rot. That's right, the skullish face appears into the light from the darkness. The red eyes, the first thing you see, then the glistening, or well, I guess you could say slight dulled reflection off his skeletal horns, his evil indented nose. That's right, a black dragon has come to call. Now, this dragon would be what I would call a young sub-adult dragon. I know WizKids hasn't made it, but WizKids, if you're watching, or Wizards of the Coast, add a sub-adult class. It's not a large, it's not a huge. I mean, well, they're huge, but they're small huge. Like, this thing literally is big enough that it could tackle a dinosaur. Could it kill a T-Rex in a fight strength-wise? Maybe, maybe not. T-Rex gets a good bite with those terrifying jaws. It could probably still kill a dragon this big. But with its breath weapon and flying as an extra effect, it would probably win. I got the kobold, which are probably its minions, and then the drow there hiding under the shadow of the wings, just to show some scale there. This is a big dragon. In D&D, this dragon could easily pick up a character, shake it around Skyrim dragon style, and throw it flying and just be like, oh, well, you're dead. Or breathe its acid while you're in its jaws, which, honestly, the fact that dragons can't use their breath weapon when they're holding something in their mouth, I think is ludicrous. I see no reason a dragon can't breathe fire on an opponent in its mouth or drool its acid out on them and burn them down. I think it's just more of a grotesque way to finish a foe, so that's more of like a statement. And I would do it that way because, to be darned, if it's in the rule of cool and the rule of awesomeness, it's going. Now, this dragon has a nice pose. I like dragons that don't fly, and I like the wings on this. They're removable, but they're also not permanent. Like, they have a little slot they slide into on the back, and then you just pop the little peg in, and honestly, they sit nice and tight. Could I pull them out? Yeah, if I wanted to, but, I mean, that's great for storing it. Unless I want to put this thing on the shelf or maybe put it with the rest of my dragons so it's ready to be used in case I want to have a couple black dragons. It's well painted. It's honestly painted. I actually kind of don't mind that it's not like dark black, like where it's the very deep black. It's more of like a slight brownish tint to it, which I'm actually kind of fine with. The grayish brown tint added to it, it makes it so, like the fact this is a sub-adult. Because usually young dragons, and then like into sub-adultcy, they would start getting darker and darker to their full black state as their full adult size. That's when they're really at their most matured and ready for reproduction. But I'd say sub-adults would be like the first beginning brood. Like this dragon could also be a female mother dragon raising her brood. And, you know, players come across it. She protects her brood and her horde. So it's not weird. And it's just good. Like I said, I really hope WizKids one day at Wizards, sorry, I want to say WizKids, but Wizards adds sub-adult dragons, because like then they don't have to keep doing this little large ring inside the huge ring. They could just write on it, sub-adult black dragon, sub-adult red dragon, sub-adult blue, and then make the stats like really the mid between the blue, at the large, and the huge. Just do that, guys. It's better. They're still going to be huge. You don't have to worry about getting a true adult dragon if it's too powerful, but it's going to bump up from just a large dragon. That's going to be an easy kill for a party once they level up. You know what I mean? You're getting that intermediate before the party has to worry about an adult dragon whooping the crap out of the party. So really, this is an awesome miniature. Now, overall thoughts on Onslaught. Well, for what I paid for, I got a great set of minis. They're really well painted. We've got more, I guess you could say, cannon fodder minis, NPC to PC minis, and we got an awesome dragon. And you know, Dracon, I love my dragons. Being a Dragonoid, I love my dragons. Anyway, guys, as always, I do thank you for getting this far in the video. Like I said before, make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and, you know, hit the bell notification so you're not missing out on more in the future. Leave a comment down below, questions, concerns, ideas, or any questions you might have for me. Or if you want to get involved with my Dice and Dummies podcast, we do have a Discord for the Dice and Dummies. I myself have a Dracon Discord. You know, if you want to join, throw it down below. I'll answer back with a link to it if you guys want to join it. That's where I post a lot of like my painted miniatures and stuff, with me and my bro right now being the main people who use it. So if you want a couple members from the Dice and Dummies to look at it, they can. If you want to get on the Dice and Dummies Discord to maybe throw some questions at us, maybe get some ideas, we're always glad to help out the community. Go for it. I'll throw a link. I can get a link to that too for you. If you want to join the YouTube, or if you want to join me on my Twitter at Dracon, do it. I love chatting people up, seeing their minis, giving my opinions, giving them ideas from my experience. I'm really willing to help out here. I'd love to give my ideas and maybe help you come up with ideas to make your players go, dang, that session was balling. That session made me on the edge of my seat going, win, win, or no, just don't die. Like, gotta survive.